Okay, I'm live back. Hopefully, I'm bright enough with this light now. Anyway, I'm moving on. Yeah, I wanted to come back and do another tape about the 12 universal laws and the 7 hermetic principles. So I'm about to be online. I'm pissed. I got to figure out how to screen share and or show my screen as I'm talking. Um, until then, you'll have to be looking at me talk while I'm looking up stuff, and I can't really prep 7 hermetic principles. I can't really prep for this and then do a video because this shit won't. I mean, because it won't get done. I'm like I'll be taking up too much time and it won't be as perfect as I wanted and all of this stuff will come into play. So I'ma just do it raw per se. So I already got my tab with the 7 hermetic principles. Now I want to do the 12 universal laws. And I'm gonna go one by one, I think, and just read them and brief them. You know, how do I feel about it and how does it apply? I used First Media last time. I want a different take. Yeah, this one says 12 universal laws with real world. Hold on. Is this what I used last time? I want something without a lot of ads, but you can get an explanation. Let me see. Okay. Okay, this one does have an explanation, but don't necessarily like the way it's set up. I'm gonna try to find one more. I hate using what they give you at the top. the 12 and what they mean. Okay, let me check this one. I'm already sweating. All right, this one's perfect. Yeah, the law of attraction.com. It got ads popping up and shit everywhere, but oh well. I'm stick with this one unless it gets too crazy. So let me make sure I got a good one for the hermetic principles with an explanation. What are they and how to use them? All right, let me see. Okay. Yeah, this is good. So, all right. This time I'm going to start with the Hermetic principle. Okay. I'm going to do 1 and 1. If they're pretty much the same thing, then I'll be moving on. All right. So, the first Hermetic principle is the principle of mentalism. And then it has like a quote: "The all is mind, the universe is mental." And that's a quote from the Kabbalion, which goes over these principles. So, the explanation is the principle of mentalism states that the universe is akin to a mental projection, which is all about using your thoughts to shape your reality. For anything to be, a thought must precede it. And this is why it's the first law, first principle. I'm gonna go to the law next. Through this principle, it is believed that it says God is consciousness or thought, and the universe is a manifestation of the mind of God. Using this law, we too can harness the power of our minds to create the life we want. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pause there. It has some more. You know what? Now I'm gonna go ahead. It says how to apply it. Consider the initial thought that led you to be able to read this, and on whatever device you're on, or even the thought that is most influential or the most influencing your mood right now. When we recognize how much our thoughts manifest every day, whether internally as a psychological or emotional state, or externally as the things we do or places we go, we see that when we can control our mind, we control our lives. We can be better at this through spiritual practices such as meditation, which help us train the mind. Okay. So that was the law. I mean, dang, that was the first Hermetic principle, which is the principle of mentalism. The quote is the the all is mind, the universe is mental. And they gave how to apply it. And so yeah, what does this mean today? And what's some awareness that we can put on this? And I'm thinking first is advertising and how attention is so profitable. Um, and it's if you understand this principle of mentalism, and it's saying that the mind pretty much controls everything, or it precedes everything, because we move and kind of operate with an intent, which is mental. We had to think about it. Um, so this is why the attention, TikTok, the YouTube, All of this stuff is value going up. It's more emphasis on what you're looking at, all the ads up here, and what you're thinking about. So before I go any further, I'm going to go over to the first law of the 12 universal laws and compare and contrast the ones that are similar. And this law is similar, if not the same, to the first Hermetic principle. This law is the law of divine oneness. It says it is the foundation law according to which absolutely everything in our universe is interconnected. In other words, every choice, word, desire, and belief you have will also have an impact on the world and the other people in your life. Hmm. Divine oneness. Sometimes the impact will be intermediate and obvious. At other times, it may take a while to manifest, or you may never even discover that it occurred. Try to think of yourself as part of everything around you to live in accordance with law. Try to think of yourself as part of everything around you to live in accordance with this law. Oneness, or we can say wholeness. We are all one. And once again, let me finish. We are all one, and awareness of this makes us more powerful as well as more empathetic. This is, and it ends right there, and that's perfect. It's that slice, give me straight the truth. Man, if that's what people just, if we just did one and one and stop, we should be able to make it. But we got 6 more Hermetic and 11 more uh universal laws. But yeah, where did it say uh sometimes this we are all one, and awareness of this makes us more powerful as well as more empathetic. So yeah, if you are not divided, you cannot be conquered, or it is very difficult for you to be conquered. But if you're divided, it's easy. It's nothing. Yeah, so once again, other times, we are all one, and awareness of this makes us more powerful as well as more empathetic. So compare and contrast or whatever this law to that first principle. Go back and all is mind, the universe is mental, and it spoke about it is and the universe is a manifestation of the mind. So if we combine these, oh my goodness, using your mind and focusing on the fact that we are all one, and stop listening to um, another person's opinion on what we are, and let's just stick to principles and laws of the universe and wise beings. I don't see how you can go wrong with this. Um, like who's arguing again? Well, yeah, you can make an argument. It says we are all one, and awareness of this makes us more powerful. So somebody said, "No, we're not one, and I'm not like you." And you got a guy, Umar. He's like this and that. So we're gonna find out, does this translate to people and colors, and what is the other one? Is color and class that divide the most impactfully. So they put on your mental that you is this and he is that, and do this and don't do that. That's what they put on the mentality. Got them. And does anybody think that they is one? Does the average person, is that what they're rocking with? But I bet if you ask kids, they probably would. Oh, that's a kid. I'm a kid. But anyway, I'm gonna move on because I'm gonna come back to it if something correlates. But self-explanatory. Let's go. It's 6:20. Ah, man. All right, so back to the Hermetic. So the next Hermetic principle is the principle of correspondence. And that's so I'm gonna skip the to the third universal law because I want to go to the ones that are the same, and then so the Hermetic principle number 2 is the law of correspondence, which the quote would be, as above, so below. Oh, okay. I thought you just stopped there, but they're like, as above, so below, as below, so above. And I think it goes further, but that's the quote they gave me. It goes further to say, as within, so without. And I guess so without, as within. I don't know, but I know as within, so without. All right. What the heck does that mean? We've all heard this quote before, but maybe you never knew it was Hermes who first coined it. Really. It's closely related to the first principle of mentalism and states that what we hold in our thoughts and mind will become our reality. It explains the many planes of existence, the many planes of existence, including those of lower and higher vibrational frequencies, and how they're connected. Okay, so how to apply this principle. Applying this law is all about understanding your connection to the world around you and how you're showing up for yourself and the universe through your thoughts and subsequently your actions. When we have a firm what advertisement. When we have a firm grasp on how we're interacting with life and how it's affecting us, we can recognize and break patterns, live in alignment with our highest good, and feel harmonious with everything there is. Whew. Hold on, let me get to those last two sentences again. I'm gonna read this whole thing. Applying this law is all about understanding your connection to the world around you and how you're showing up for yourself and the universe through your thoughts and subsequently your actions. When we have a firm grasp on how we're interacting with life, a firm grasp, wow, and how it's affecting us, we can recognize and break patterns. So that tells me while we're navigating life, living and learning, making mistakes, making improvements, it just tells me that there's lessons and there's traps throughout life. And we might stray from a path that we should be going down, and it could be you know a negative or so, because it says and we can recognize and break patterns and then live in alignment with our highest good and feel harmonious with everything there is. And it just makes you think, like, when you decide to do something and you get a feeling that you probably shouldn't do it, and it was like you got a firm grasp on how to interact with life, uh, and how it's affecting you, and then you affecting us, we recognize and breaks break patterns. So a lot of times you decide to do something you kind of don't want to do, or go somewhere you kind of don't want to go, and you're like, I want to go, or I'm gonna do it, and it doesn't necessarily go right. And then, this, I guess, a similar situation could come about. Are you gonna keep drinking or keep doing this and keep doing that? Or are you gonna break the pattern and live in alignment? So I'm thinking that's like when it comes time to decide on what to do, you gonna make the move that feels right. And like it said, and feel harmonious with everything there is. So yeah, that was as above, so below. See, because if you tell somebody, oh, you know about the second principle, Hermetic principle of correspondence, they're like, oh yeah, 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 as above, so below, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What what the hell does that mean though? And you gotta apply yourself. and understand your connection to the world around you, how you're showing up for yourself and the universe through your thoughts and subsequently your actions. When we have a firm grasp on how we're interacting with life, traveling, deciding, experiencing, when we have a firm grasp on how we're interacting with life and how it's affecting us, we can recognize and break patterns, live in alignment with our highest good, and feel harmonious with everything there is. All right. So I'm going to go over to the 12 universal laws. And I'm going to skip law number 2 and go to the law of correspondence. Because that's what this one said. Correspondence is that exact same word. And I'm going to see if there's any difference. The law of correspondence is directly related to the foundational law of oneness. I meant to say something about that too. Because it says here it's closely related to the first principle of mentalism and states that we hold in our thoughts and mind. Oh, what we hold in our thoughts and mind will become our reality. So if you trying to control people, you not wanting them to think and be aware of how they traveling through life so that they can break a pattern. You want to implement, hey, advertisement, propaganda, so that you're not going on your personal life agenda. You are mesmerized by the advertisement or, you know, things that are going on, and you'll have to decide on that. So, um, that's I wanted to get to the connection because both of them mentioned there's a connection with this and that. And the first one, all is mind, the universe is mental, and which is about using your thoughts to shape your reality. Okay, so all right, back to the okay, so it said that um is directly related to the divine law of oneness, and the other one said the same. But the key idea here is that patterns repeat throughout the universe. Wow. Okay. This site is direct. Okay. And that prominent patterns can also be found repeating on a very small scale. For example, think of the popular example of the spiral pattern that reappears in a huge number of places in the galaxy. Okay, a galaxy normally looks like a spinning spiral. Okay. Look for patterns in your life, in your own life and in your thinking, and notice how they repeat elsewhere in the world. That's will be like, man, this is a common example for this. I wanna I was gonna say red Mustang, but let me be realistic. I want, Yeah, I'm gonna just use that. If somebody's like, man, I'm trying to get a red Mustang, um, GT 500 convertible, they will see a red Mustang, maybe not as specific, but sometimes, yeah, they will see that within the next 3 days, like damn near half the time. So that's a correspondence that they just kind of mention here. Look for patterns in your own life and in your thinking, and notice how they repeat elsewhere in the world. As you do so, consider the kinds of pattern changes you might be able to make and how those will create change on a large scale. What? Oh, I might have to look more into that. Look for patterns in your own life and in your thinking, and notice how they repeat elsewhere in the world. As you do so, consider the kinds of pattern changes you might be able to make and how those will create change on a large scale. So instead of saying like, oh man, I want this red Mustang, and you could say, hey, maybe I want a vehicle that will never break down. It's gonna always be reliable and it's gonna keep me safe. And anybody that rides with me will be safe. And you can put some extra thoughts in it because you say I want a red Mustang, and the universe is like, okay, get this guy a red Mustang and send it down. But you know, it's not reliable. It breaks down and you blow the transmission in 2 months because you wilding. So, it's like, consider the kinds of pattern changes you might be able to make and how those will create change on a larger scale. So if you said, I don't know, that's just my example, but y'all can think of something else. All right, I'm moving on to number 3. The principle of vibration, which is the second universal law. I skipped that to get to the third to match up with this, but this third is that second. So let's go to that one. The principle of vibration, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. That's the quote from the Kabbalion, which is the book about the 7 principles. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. All right. Okay, so it says, yes, believe it or not, the idea of vibes has been around a long, long time. The principle of vibration states that all things, both physical matter and spiritual energy, okay, hold a certain vibration. Basic science tells us atoms are in constant motion, as is the universe itself. Even our hearts, as they beat, give off different vibrations depending on our emotional state. And when we're vibing high, we're able to avoid low level frequencies that don't serve us. Hmm. How to apply this third principle? This will look different for everyone, but to apply this third principle, you want to not only do things, but think thoughts that allow you to be in a state of ease. Really, where your body is vibrating at a more positive level. Applying the first two principles can help you start to do this. You might be noticing all of these principles are deeply interwoven. Um, with this principle, we acknowledge that we have the power to control our vibration rather than our vibration controlling us. Whew. Hmm. Okay, so it didn't really say anything. You want to not only do things, but think thoughts that allow you to be in a state of ease where your body is vibrating at a more positive level. So if we now understand that we vibrate and especially the heart where it's saying that we should do things and think, wow, that puts you in an ease state. You don't want to be sad. You don't want to be depressed. Uh, you know, and it had made me think of something. An example. Um, Playing the first two, you might notice all of the interval. This principle, we acknowledge that we have the power to control our vibration rather than our vibration controlling us. Yeah. So the divide and conquer will be controlling your vibration and deciding on what division you want to do might not necessarily put you at ease, which reminded me what I was going to say. When we get the feeling, when we got to make a decision and we kind of feel like we shouldn't do it, but we kind of want to do it, or we do it anyway because the what they call it, the influence of the people around you, and then you want to blame them for your decision because you, like it says, have the power to control your vibration. And so, yeah, you would be at ease if you just did what you felt like you should have done instead of maybe being influenced, which is why attention and influencers are getting the money. Because if they can get you to go against your vibe, your mind, um, what was the other one? And your thoughts. And it's just so far, it's really emphasizing the fact that you have power and you might want to use it. And it's telling you how to kind of avoid a lot of stress. And they even mention how meditation will assist in, you know, in doing this stuff, which is why it's non-existent, um, percentage wise in the society of America. So okay, that was number three. I don't know why I keep looking at my notes when I don't have anything written down. So now I'm going up to the second universal law, which is the law of vibration. According to the law of vibration, every particle in the universe is in constant movement and constantly carries energy. This applies to enormous parts of the universe, like the planets and stars. However, it also applies to the chair underneath you or the table where your computer sits. Okay, everything vibrates. In addition, everything has its own specific energy frequency. High, low, up, down. Sorry. High energy particles are naturally attuned to other high energy particles. And the same is true for those that have low energy. If your goal is to live a more productive and full life, consider what you would need to do to heighten your energy frequency. Hmm. So you control your thoughts and your actions. You control your thoughts and your actions. Um, Understand the fact that we are all one. I just watched a video, YouTube, some it popped up, near death experience, and the lady was like, black lady was like, she has seen six of her past lives, and she was like, one time she was like uh, a slave girl, and she was like, she was traumatized by, people getting whipped and the abuse of the people. And, she just talked about how she saw that, she was fearful of that. And then she saw her next life, and she was a white dude whipping slaves. So I think that's going to correlate with some laws coming down. The fact that that's an opposite spectrum. Black young girl, fearful of a situation in life and traumatized by it, and then ending up being the exact opposite. And it was her as the young black girl, and her as a white man that beat slaves. So I didn't, it's on YouTube. Look for something like that in near death experiences. But yeah, so yeah, I was talking about it was a recap, and how as far as where we're at now, the three, um what it looks like to be doing this stuff. We should be we should be considering, well, we should dominate our own thoughts. We should understand that there are others that have opinions and their own life experiences, but we definitely should be, we should have a mind of our own, which we then carry out the actions of our own. And that is having an understanding of oneness, which is going to put you at ease and ha- potentially raise your vibrations and keep you connected to your thoughts easily and keep your actions in line. What it looked like it's saying so far, so that you feel harmonious with everything there is. Vibe and high. So that's the first three. And I'm moving on because I covered everything. Yeah. Number four, 650. Number four. Wow. Okay. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Yeah, I wanted to say something about this too. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites, like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. I never heard this. This is a long quote. Okay, let me do this again because I thought somebody was about to come in. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. That's a quote from the Kabbalion. Wow, okay. And okay. Um Explanation. The principle of polarity explains that seemingly opposite things are actually one, interwoven, are actually one and the same at varying degrees. A simple example of this is hot and cold. Cold is just the absence of heat, and they're both one thing: temperature. Physical matter and spiritual energy are the same thing, with spiritual energy vibrating at a much higher level, such that it can't be perceived by our senses. Love and hate are two ways of experiencing the same thing, a relationship towards something. Mhm. This is the foundation of alchemy, or the ability to transmute your experiences at will. Man, this one's kind of a little heavy. This one's a little heavy. All right, let me go to how to apply it. How do we apply the principle of polarity? Applying the principle of polarity takes a degree of mental stamina. And that's what I mean by this is kind of heavy. And involves shifting the way you look at something. All right, I gotta pause right there because I was gonna say when it comes to polarity and duality, I want to make sure everybody kind of understand, or I mean, you can just hear my opinion on this, but duality and polarity is saying that is it's two things operating, but the two things the two things are masculine and feminine. It's not it's not a polarity if it's masculine and masculine. They're not a pair of opposite. Opposite is masculine and feminine. That's duality. Duality is masculine and feminine. So, just let that marinate. Because people are like, oh, I want to identify. And I'm like, okay, just make sure you go over these universal laws and principles. All right, so where was I? Yeah, let me read this again. Physical math. No, I'm on how to apply it. How to apply. Okay, I'm gonna start applying again. Applying the principle of polarity takes a degree of mental stamina and involves shifting the way you look at something. Potentially, okay, let me read that all together. So, applying the principle of polarity takes a degree of mental stamina and involves shifting the way you look at something, potentially completely on its head. And that's what I mean. This is the mental stamina. Wow. Shifting the way you look at something completely on its head. Yeah, because it was saying how hot water is cold water. Cold water is just the absence of heat. And you're like, let me shift my, you know, the way I look at that. But all right, let's go. We got some more. Take the hate you may feel for someone. Is there any way you can shift it to feelings of love? For example, anytime a lower vibrational emotion is bringing you down, can you recognize it, feel it, and transmute it to a more positive one? And this is what I have been working on. Definitely last 3 years. um, with awareness, and any other time, not as aware. But man, whew, take the hate you may feel for someone. Is there any way you can shift it to feelings of love? For example, anytime a lower vibrational emotion is bringing you down, can you recognize that, feel it, and transmute it to a more positive one? You know, man, because it's like, say, speak for what is resonating or what I see. If somebody is, man, pro black or pro white, and not necessarily as uplifting, they're uplifting and then downcasting. Can they just be uplifting? And if you go back to the other one, recognize that we're all one. I'm thinking of all the divisions. Say a Muslim, maybe, if he looks down on a Christian, or a Christian looks down on a Muslim, or I don't know, maybe if they feel hate for another person that is lower class, another religion, their color of pigment, do we look down or do we have a little hate that we can feel, recognize, and then transmute to a more positive one? Can we be an alchemist and destroy all of these separations, and you know this is the mental, what they say, what did it say? Oh, go up here. It said to apply. Hold on. What? Hold on. I'm at number 4. And it said, um, okay. It said, applying this principle of polarity takes a degree of mental stamina and involves shifting the way you look at something potentially completely on its head. Because anytime you looking down or you hating somebody, can you be an alchemist and recognize and feel it and transmute it to positive and stop doing that, so that you can in turn vibrate higher, control your thoughts and actions, and become one with the universe. I mean, one with everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, okay. All right. So that was a lot, but it said it was a lot. So I had to give it the attention. All right. So number 4 for the universal laws is the law of attraction. I'm gonna skip and see, can I find correspondence? I mean, what did I say? What we on? Was it correspondence? Compensation. I think there is. Oh, okay. So in the 12 universal laws, let me make sure. Okay, it wasn't correspondence. It was the principle of polarity. And the fourth universal law is attraction, but I want to go to the universal law that is uh, the same or similar. So I'm gonna go to number 10. Maybe I need to write. I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, because I keep looking over here. 4 is polarity. And universal law, we're gonna go to 10. So it says the 10th universal law is when thinking about the law of polarity, the most important thing to remember is that absolutely everything has an opposite. Absolutely everything has an opposite. That's huge. Hold on real quick. And that is the very existence of these opposites that allow us to understand our life. Damn, man, this is a good sight. When thinking about the law of polarity, the most important thing to remember is that absolutely everything has an opposite, and that it's the very existence of these opposites that allow us to understand our life. Whew. So that's like saying divine duality. Man. So it's saying that we should remember. Okay, I gotta read this again. When thinking about the law of polarity, the most important thing to remember is that absolutely everything has an opposite. And it's that, and that is the very existence. What? And that, and that it's the very existence of these opposites that allow us to understand our life. And the reason why I'm going back and back is because it also said that everything is one. So let's go back. You know what I'm saying? The first law is the law of divine oneness. And that's what the Hermetic principle number 4 was saying. Even it was saying that cold water and hot water is called two different things, but it's the same thing. Cold water is just it was saying how it is cold water is just water. It's just water with no heat. So cause I'm thinking a child, because we should be relaying this to our children after we understand it. If they was to hear first, hey, everything is one, blase, blase, we're all connected. We're all one. And then you come down to the fourth principle, which is polarity, and the 10th universal law. And it says, when thinking about the law of polarity, the most important thing to remember is that absolutely everything has an opposite, and that it's the very existence of these opposites that allow us to understand life. Um, yeah. And now, when I said duality is masculine and feminine, man, you can still see how men inverse or opposite females in every way. But when you look at how they change sexes today, you should understand how that first law is in play, where they're able to do that because, like, the whole water being is just, oh man, if you can turn one into the other, you should see that wholeness and that oneness they were saying. But anyway, I ain't even done. Let me finish this. This one's heavy, so I got to break this down for myself. Um, what did I say? Oh yeah, understanding life. Consequently, when you go through something difficult, it will be this thing that helps you truly appreciate the good developments to come. By regularly reminding yourself of this, you can improve your resilience in troubled times. I definitely, last 3 years, by regularly reminding yourself, by being that alchemist, by seeing the situation, feeling the situation, and controlling your own thoughts, you can improve your resilience in troubled times. Instead of pouting and this and that and then wishing for a red Mustang, you can say, I can get through this. This is just preparing me for better days, and, keep getting your vibration up. Listen to somebody that's helping you. For example, through a bad breakup, oh, though a bad breakup is painful, it teaches you what doesn't work for you in a relationship, helping you to eventually find what does. Mm, Head scratcher, literally. Okay. I'm gonna read that one more time. By regularly reminding yourself of this, you can improve your resilience in troubled times. For example, though a breakup, though a bad breakup is painful, it teaches you what doesn't work for you in a relationship. But what do we do half the time? Oh, this person was we talking crap. Instead of recognizing this fact, you're being taught a lesson, or you being shown how to do better. So teaches you what doesn't work for you in a relationship, helping you to eventually find what does. This is, yeah, that's all right. That's classic. I'm gonna move on. 7:15. Dang it. Um, Number 5, the principle of rhythm. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. It's saying every and all. The pendulum swings. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. I mean, they're saying everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. That's a quote from the Kabbalion. Our explanation and how to apply it. Closely related to the principle of polarity, the fifth principle states that between the opposing poles, there exists an inherent rhythm between the poles of polarity. Oh, okay. It doesn't say that, but it said between the opposing poles, there is a inherent rhythm. So this is the interweaving of this principle to the last, which, okay. The tides move in and out. We inhale and exhale. Everything is in motion. Nature has its seasons, and so too do we. Understanding this principle allows us to recognize our lives and the universe. Understanding this principle allows us to recognize our lives and the universe's natural rhythms, so we can actually work with them rather than having them work against us. Whoa. Nature has its seasons, and so too do we. Understanding this principle once again, recognition, bro. I mean, come on. If you play Madden, you want a cornerback with high recognition, and people traveling through life, it's kind of emphasizing the fact that you want to be recognizing shit. Understanding this principle allows us to recognize our lives and the universe natural rhythm, so we can actually work with them rather than having them work against us. Okay, how do we apply this principle of rhythm? Know that nothing lasts forever. Huge. And things, because what do we say? Time heals everything. But anyway, and things are ever changing. As you get deeper into working with this law, you'll be with this law. Okay, so they're actually saying that. I'm on the 7 principle side, but anyway, as you get deeper into working with this law, You'll be able to work with your own emotional states to avoid a dramatic pendulum swing of feelings. It's thought that eventually the master will be able to completely transcend duality. But if you're just getting started, try becoming more aware of your emotional state and using polarity, the fourth principle, and rhythm to start getting more comfortable with the natural fluxes of your life. Man, hmm. Trying to think of an example. I had one too. Know that nothing lasts forever and things are ever changing. As you get deeper into working with this law, you'll be able to work with your own emotional states to avoid a dramatic pendulum swing of feelings. It's it's thought that eventually the master will be able to completely transcend duality. But if you're just getting started, try becoming more aware of your emotional state and using polarity and rhythm to start getting more comfortable with the natural fluxes of your life. This kind of remind me of then when we'll see something on TV with the police and how they'll do something, and you wanna. I don't know if this is the same, but it did say working with this law. You'll be able to work with your own emotional states to avoid dramatic pendulum swing of feelings. And I guess that means you should avoid a dramatic pendulum swing of feelings. And you definitely don't want to be on a dramatic pendulum swing of feelings caused by an outside projection. And if you remember, what does it say? Know that nothing lasts forever. That was the first line in how to apply this. How do you apply this? Know that nothing lasts forever and things are ever changing. As you get deeper into working with this law, you'll be able to work with your own emotional states to avoid a dramatic pendulum swing of feelings. So I guess and then what did it say? The rhythm is in between the the poles of duality. Good hard times, good times. If you are at a hard time, understand that nothing lasts forever. Things are ever changing. So don't get locked into an emotional state of a hard time. See it, recognize it, feel it, and start making your way to thinking the right thoughts, putting the right actions together to make your way to the good time. It's just prep work. Like they said, the bad breakup. Hey, work your way into moving on, learning what didn't work for you, and find someone that will work with you. So that was number 5, and it was dealing with rhythm. I gotta get some sleep. It's 7:30. Game's probably over. I said Eagles was gonna win too, but anyway. Okay, so the law of rhythm, universal law of rhythm, is number 11. Right after polarity, that shows to the connection between these two. So let's see what it says. Sometimes called the law of perpetual motion. The law of rhythm is unsurprisingly focused on movement. In particular, it refers to the fact that all things come in cycles or seasons. It doesn't say that, but another way to look at it. You can see this in nature, i.e., in the seasons and in the body's aging process. Okay, so the cycle, yeah. However, it equally applies to a person's life stages, and reflecting on this helps you to gain perspective. Today's season may be good, but nothing is permanent. So enjoy what you have while it lasts. Hmm. Alternatively, perhaps you're in a negative part of the cycle right now, but it may be the very thing that prepares you for the prosperous change in cycles next month. So, yeah, this is good to keep you um yeah, this is definitely an awareness booster, and you will, cause I'm pretty aware of this, and it definitely boosts awareness, and you understand patterns very well when you implement this type of uh when you have awareness of this polarity and rhythm. All right, I'm gonna go to number 6. Even though I'm not trying to rush, is there anything else on that? Today's season. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see it. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. It's getting thick. So number 6, Hermetic principle number 6 out of 7 is cause and effect. Cause and effect. I mean, dang, every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. That's the quote from the Kabbalion. Everything is connected through the principle of cause and effect. For each cause, for each cause of one thing is merely the effect of something else. Going back to the very beginning, ask yourself, trying to see if this dog needs to get walked. Ask yourself, are you a cause or are you an effect? This principle is about acknowledging the effects of our thoughts and behavior and how we may change them to bring about greater effects. All right. How to apply this law or this principle. When something doesn't go as planned or you find yourself unhappy, ask yourself, what was the cause? Yeah, this is deep. Not too many people gonna really want to do this, but anyway, many times we find ourselves reacting to the world around us. Why'd you do it? They told me to do it. Yeah, he's thirsty or something. They told me to do it and I did it, man. Ask yourself, what was the cause? Many times we find ourselves reacting to the world around us, trapped in a back and forth of reacting to our circumstances rather than forging our own path. We reacting to something we seen. Police did this. What? Oh man. Or what's another one? Such and such said, he went on Breakfast Club and said some, or you seen a commercial. Dang, now I'm about to go get this McDonald's. That's a cause. What's the effect? You ate 5 cheeseburgers, fries, drink. 10 minutes later, you still hungry. You know, um, um, and how we may change them to bring about greater effect. Ask yourself, did I get that? Ask yourself, are you a cause or are you an effect? The principle is all about acknowledging the effects of our thoughts and behavior and how we may change them to bring about greater effects. Wow. Okay, so how to apply? Did I read this? I'm kind of lost. When something doesn't go as planned, or you find yourself unhappy, ask yourself, what was the cause? Many times we find ourselves reacting to the world around us, trapped in a back and forth of reacting to our circumstances rather than forging our own path. Okay, I remember. When we take action to get the effect we want, we move from feeling like a victim to feeling empowered. Wow. When we take action to get the effect we want, wow. So, we think today that we can get things done by operating in a system that doesn't do things for us, i.e., going to, I'm gonna vote this person in the office, and because I'm tired of the way stuff going on. This person failed. I'm gonna vote this person in, but it's like kind of saying here, and how we may change. When it says here, many times. Okay, okay. Many times we find ourselves reacting to the world around us, politics, right? Trapped in a back and forth. What is that? Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat. They just go back and forth. You're reacting to some shit. Uh uh Trapped in a back and forth of reacting to our circumstances rather than forging our own path. Folks linking up, realizing that, man, look, we all on the same boat, and changing, flipping things mentally, and then saying what? When we take action, when we take action to get the effect we want, we move from feeling like a victim to feeling empowered. Man, that just sounds like to me people coming together to address the issues and coming up with a solution for that and agreeing on this solution and start working towards the solution rather than depending on political figures. So cause and effect. Dang, it's almost 8. Cause and effect is universal law number 7. All right, let's go. One of the most straightforward laws of the universe, the law of cause and effect, tells us that all actions have a corresponding action. Yeah, well, yeah, polarity. You will already know this, of course, when it comes to the physical aspects of the world. However, perhaps you haven't considered how this law might be applied to the spiritual aspects of our universe. Your spiritual life can impact the world around you, causing positive or negative reactions. Similarly, your physical environment can impact your spirituality, whether for good or for bad. Ask yourself what types of relationships you see between the spiritual and the physical, and how you might want to change them. Hmm. Okay. It said how to apply this in the principle. That was it for the law. Many times we find ourselves. Oh yeah, it's when we take action to get the effect we want, we move from feeling like a victim. So it's getting to the point where it's saying you shouldn't feel like a victim. You shouldn't embrace that type of mentality. You should not be reacting to the world around you as far as it really controlling you, or trapped into, reacting into circumstances rather than forging your own path, you know? So, all right, cause and effect. Like I said, it was straightforward. Got to be aware that all your actions have an effect. So, the last one is the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This is a quote from the Kabbalion. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Everything. So if I hear something other than that, I'm like wondering what's their source, or, you know, gender manifests on all planes. This is a principle. And I'm going to find next the corresponding law, which is number 12. It's the last one, and it's the last one. It's universal law number 12, Hermetic principle number 7. I'm going to say this one more time. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. So anything talking about genderless, um and it's an outside world propaganda and advertised, and you know, all of that type of stuff, I'm like, where are you coming up with this? So let's get the explanation and how to apply so I can get some rest. The seventh principle states that all things have masculine and feminine qualities. Yes, the two sexes can be thought of as a physical manifestation of this principle. But as we're all coming to understand on an internal level, all of us hold both energies. That's facts. We hold both energies. Think the left and right brain. Masculine and feminine energy exists in not only the physical plane, but the mental and spiritual plane as well. The unity of these two energies is essential for creation. And when one has a balance, that's what I wanted to say. Duality. Balance is masculine and feminine. There is no balance eh, per se. Balance is not masculine and masculine, or a masculine doing something at a certain way in a certain pay. If the masculine was to do that, and then the feminine was to do what the masculine was doing. That is, yeah, that's equal. That's equality. Um, yeah, that is okay, but it's not balance, and balance is important. Where was I throwing my own 2 cents? Okay, I think I'm at. All right, I'm gonna just do this. Masculine and feminine energy exists in not only the physical plane, but the mental and spiritual as well. The unity of these two energy is essential for creation, and when one has a balance of both, they're better able to apply all of the principles together for maximum benefit. Whoa. The unity of these two energies is essential for creation, and when one has a balance of both, when I, not woman, be this guy, when you can be this and this, they're better able to apply all of the other principles together for maximum benefit. How do we apply this principle of gender? Accept all the parts of yourself. Wow. No suppressing. And understand that balance in all is key for self mastery. Buddha called this the middle way. And it's all about the balance of masculine and feminine, not about equal. It's about balance. That's what I was trying to say earlier. The advocating of a woman to be equal, I guess, in a work environment. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but uh, cause and effect. What is that going to do? It's gonna be a reaction for that. So back to the thing. Buddha called this the middle way, and it's all about the balance of masculine and feminine. Masculine and feminine of heavenly and earth earthbound. Whoa, hold on. Call this the middle way, and it's all about the balance of masculine and feminine, semicolon, of heavenly and earthbound, and of the mind, body, spirit. When we can achieve this balance within ourselves, we're well equipped to harness all of these principles and use them in our lives for good. If this all sounds like a lot, don't worry. These principles run very, very deep, and it can take a long time to fully understand and embody them. Each time you come back to them, you may understand them in a new way. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Or on a deeper level. And in time, these principles can help you master your own mind and your life as a whole. And that's why I'm doing the video on this, because I've been knowing about these laws and principles for a long time, and you hear them, read them, and they are what they are at that particular time of your travel through life. And I just know how they're hitting me now. And so I'm like, I gotta keep the repetition and recognize where I am, and okay, like this is making a lot more sense, but still it's it's heavy. So let me go to the find the number 12 universal law, and then we're done. And I'll see who won the game. Better be Philly, but yeah, law of gender. Finally, the law of gender has very little to do with biological sex. Rather, it refers to the fact that there are two major types of energy. Exactly. That's what I want to say too. And that's why I'm like, duality is masculine and feminine, and they are energies. So it says you can think of them as masculine and feminine, as yin and yang, and as anima and animus. We all contain a certain amount of energy and must find a way to achieve a balance between both types if we are to live authentically and happily. Think about the role each type of energy appears to play in your life, and whether that is an excess or a deficit of either. Think about the role each type of energy appears to play in your life, and whether there is an excess or a deficit of either. Whew. So, man, how long was this? What? No way. Don't tell me I was not recording. No way. Oh my good. You gotta be kidding. Hold on. Stop playing. I was not recording. Was I recording? I wasn't recording. Oh shit. Whew, here it is. I was about to say almost 2 hours. So okay, I was recording on these two websites. I'm about to end this joint. Let me make sure I go back to Chrome. So I'm gonna read that one more time. Finally, the law of gender has very little to do with biological sex. Rather, it refers to the fact that there are two major types of energy. You can think of them as masculine and feminine, as yin and yang, anima and animus. We all contain a certain amount of energy. So we might have too much masculine, too little feminine, or we could be in a male body with too much feminine, or I ain't gonna say too much. What is excess? You could have excess feminine and less masculine, but it's not saying to make over. It's saying we all contain a certain amount of energy and must find a way to achieve a balance between both types if we are to live authentically and happily. And it's stated first that they are not biological. It has very little to do with biological sex. So why would you biologically have a sex change if we're talking energy that you can find a way to balance by implementing some of the things that are in the seven principles and the 12 universal laws. So, I didn't do all 12 universal laws. I just wanted to compare and contrast and kind of just do a correlation with the Hermetic principles. And that's pretty much it. I mean, try reading it. Like, I can feel it. Like, you can feel it. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up, or we can do the wholeness, um the oneness sign, I guess. All right, end.